Welcome aboard the Ear to There podcast, the podcast that'll help you vacation like a pro in any Disney destination. For those of you standing, please sit down and hold on throughout our journey and get ready to learn how to have the time of your life. And now, here's your host, Phil Gramlich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gramlich. I'm also the owner and operator of Ear to There Travel, a Disney specialized travel agency. It's my job to take away the stress, the anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. Oh, and just remember, I will take away all that stress, all that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a trip 100% free of cost. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, no-obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. This is episode number 47 for the week of December 19th, 2016. Now grab a drink, grab a snack, and as the famous mouse once said, on with the show. On the Ear to There podcast, we always talk about the theme parks, the food, the drinks, the shows, the experiences, pretty much everything that goes on in Walt Disney World. But one thing I think that we don't always pay enough attention to are the resorts. Back on episode 25, we did the first of a series of Resort Roundup episodes. Of course, I did call it a series then, and I didn't get around to recording another episode about a resort until this episode, episode 47. This week, we'll take a look at exactly why you need to stay at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and Bungalows on our second edition of the Resort Roundup. Here to talk all about our reasons that we'd stay at the Polynesian is a man who is basically the second host of this podcast. He's an Orlando local who was in Walt Disney World with his wife and kids several times each week. He actually used to frequent the cookie case at Captain Cook's for the white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. They actually stopped selling them a while ago. So if you hear him crying during this episode of the podcast, you'll know exactly why. Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve, welcome back to the show.
And that's exactly why if you ever see me in there, I'm wearing a fake beard and dark sunglasses because they recognize me. I put my foot through the cookie glass when I saw they weren't there anymore. Darn. I can't believe they got rid of those things. But yeah, they're delicious. Thanks for having me back, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, man, for coming back on. And I never had those cookies over there. I don't even know. I just, like I said, I always go to my source inside the short sleeve household who gives me the information. But I've never had those cookies, so now I kind of feel like I'm a little bit out of the loop here.
Yeah, and it's a shocker that I'm all over the sweet treats, man. Baked goods, sweet treats, that's my bag, baby. Yeah,
I is it like a I said it was was it a macaroon? No, macadamia nut cookie, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to sound like a total weirdo here, but I got to admit, like, I think if you said, what is your absolute favorite kind of cookie, most people would say chocolate chip or something like that.
Oatmeal
Mine is white.
For me. Oatmeal raisin.
Oh, those are good, man. Oatmeal raisin's strong. Don't sleep on that. But I like white chocolate macadamia cookies. It's I don't know what it is. Just an amazing. And you know what I think it is, man? I think I figured it out. I think I got introduced to it there. And so you kind of have that like memory anchor. I don't know what the true psychological term is for that, but whenever you see it, like if you go to Subway and they got the white chocolate macadamia cookies there, and you're like, ooh, that reminds me of good times at the Polynesian. I think that's what it was.
That's like me and like fries at Five Guys. Like when I walk in, I'm automatically, I have to get the fries every single time for some reason. I don't even need a cheeseburger. Just like some kind of memory of those fries. Maybe it's just because they're awesome.
Five Guys are good, but do you have BurgerFi up there in Philly?
We don't.
Oh, got it. Next time you're down here, man, we got to hit up BurgerFi. I think it's better than Five Guys.
We just got our first Shake Shack up here. I haven't been there yet. But we do. We have the Five Guys. We don't have BurgerFi. We have Shake Shack, Five Guys, and then your standard. What we need to get all over the country is In-N-Out Burger, man. That's something that when I was out in like LA, Anaheim, that place is awesome. That's what
Let me tell you, I mean, you're going to get a lot of hate mail from me saying this. I like In-N-Out Burger, But I gotta say, Burger Fight gives it just a little bit, gets a little bit of an edge over In-N-Out, and Burger Fi is within spitting distance of Walt Disney World property. I mean, you could catch a quick Uber and get over there if you if you know what I'm talking about and you have the Burger Fi itch.
All right,
it's there.
I'm down there in like 2 weeks, so we'll have to try it because
let's make it happen, man.
Yeah, I'm all about. I am all about the cheeseburgers on vacation. I would eat. I think I average at least one cheeseburger a day on my Disney trips.
And I'm going to edge out Five Guys a little more, not to make this the anti-Five Guys podcast, but they got beer and wine at Burger Fi.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not getting a sponsor from Five Guys anytime soon. So they're not calling. But yeah, I do like the burger plates with the beer and wine. There's nothing that goes better with a burger and fries than a beer. It's really true. So, yeah. All right. So as we're off to on a tangent before the podcast episode even starts. Let's do this. Let's start talking about the Polynesian because I always say, I'm really bad at Disney things because that's why I'm doing the podcast. 'Cause I'm terrible with Disney things because my instinct is always to say it's my favorite. I've noticed on this show when I re-listen to them, I'm always like, oh my God, that's my favorite. And that's my favorite. And this resort's my favorite. And that burger is my favorite. And it's because I like Disney so much. And I love Disney so much that everything is my favorite. I've realized, and I don't say it like half-heartedly. I really mean I love these things. But the Polynesian, or as it's now known, the Polynesian Village Resort and Bungalows, what it was before, it was the Polynesian Village Resort, I think, when it opened. So it's not that different than 1971. Anyway, I just love that resort. And as we're going to talk about, there's so many little tiny things that make it awesome that my list is like, it's so funny. I don't know why this is stuck in my head because my daughter's starting to read and they call them chapter books, the little books that they read. Yeah. And my Polynesian list is a chapter book long. Like it's that long. I could talk, sit here, and we usually do talk for hours and split episodes into 2 or 3 or 4. But that's
maybe this would be a record.
Yeah, right. Well, but no 24-hour episode.
But hey, you know what? Tell me what you think about this. If you ask me, like, which of the resorts, like 20-some resorts they have on property, which one has the biggest cult following? I'd say the Polynesian has the biggest cult following. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm going to give you my 2 answers because one, it's funny because I talked to Chuck Rodriguez about this really recently. There's 2, I think, that have the biggest cult following. Polynesian, yes, definitely is one of the 2. And the other one's Fort Wilderness Campground, I think.
Oh, yeah. I heard you guys talk about that on the episode. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it also has this huge, like, click following that people don't even realize it unless you stay there. But yeah, Polynesian for sure has that. Like, people will only stay there. Like, they've only ever stayed there, and they will only stay there, like, the rest of the time they go.
Yeah, I know people like that, and the difference between Polynesian and Fort Wilderness is you can't hunker down at the Polynesian for months at a time unless you're a billionaire. No. But like you can at Fort Wilderness. But yeah, that was a good episode, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that's true. You can't Fort Wilderness. You can kind of you stroll your huge RV in there, and you can stay there from Halloween until the spring. But you can't do that. Yeah, unless you've got like DiCaprio money or Harrison Ford money. You're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why DiCaprio was the first one that came to my head. I don't know. That's strange.
So you know how he won the Oscar for the first time last year for Revenant? I heard this story that he was up there after the acceptance, and he's getting his statue engraved, and they have like a little station there. And he's chit-chatting with the lady who's doing the engraving. So he says, "Hey, so do you do this every year? Are you the one who engraves the statue?" She goes, "Yep, every year, sir." He goes, "Yeah, I wouldn't know."
That's great.
He had a good sense of humor about it.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I like him. He's a good actor, man. But anyway, Polynesian. Okay, let's get on task here. All right,
there we go.
So, all right, let's go over to you. Are you ready? You want to go first?
I'll tell you what, you know me, man. My list is always crazy. It's out of left field. There's going to be a little of that on my list. There's going to be a little more straight ahead, right down the middle of the fairway kind of stuff. But let me start out of left field here.
All right.
My number one thing that came to mind, I said, Let me put my list together. I'm not going to think it out crazy. I'm just going to react. What are my favorite things about the Polynesian? Number one, without a doubt, was Ohana. And now the cool thing about this restaurant is, you don't have to stay there to eat there, obviously. Anybody can go there, whether you're staying at another resort hotel, whether you're a local yokel like me. Excuse me. And this is my go-to spot.
I'm sorry, I thought you were doing an accent there. I was like,
yes,
he's doing an accent.
Yokel spot. It's just like it. I was burping up some moonshine. No, it just my tea caught me the wrong way. So Ohana is the go-to spot for my family if we're going to celebrate something special like a birthday or something like that. Amazing food. Without a doubt, great view. If you're looking out over the marina, you can see Cinderella's castle and you can see the fireworks if you're timing your reservation correctly. Let's go back to the food for a hot second. There's nothing on that menu that I don't like. It's that family style presentation. They bring out the pineapple bread when you walk in, or the coconut bread. I can't remember which one it is. Gosh, I should do my homework before we do these calls, dude. One day I'll do it. And then I can't remember if it's pineapple or coconut. I don't think it's both. And
I don't have the menu in front of me. I honestly don't remember. So sorry.
Maybe it is both. Somebody. Maybe this will be a chance. Somebody come in and correct me on this one. Maybe it's both pineapple and coconut.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they serve you with a mixed green salad, and you get these awesome chicken wings. If you're like, it's got like this kind of sweet and sour kind of sauce on it. And I'll tell you what is like, it goes. People in my family go crazy over is the pork dumplings and these lo mein noodles that come in there. Freaking insane, man. People go nuts over that stuff. So then, but that's just to the warm up course. And then when they get rocking, they start bringing around the grilled shrimp and the steak and the chicken. And it's kind of like one of those like Brazilian or kind of South American kind of, presentation where they have the big skewers and they bring it out.
Yeah. They were doing that before that was cool. Before that was trendy,
Before that came to the mainland.
Yeah, they really were. I remember that at Ohana, like years ago, before all the little the cool restaurants that are in, at least in Philadelphia started doing it. So yeah, they've been doing that. They were like a pioneer with that thing. Right.
And then, but here's the thing: if you ask me what is in my opinion, what is the best dessert on property? It's their dessert. It's the bread pudding. They have this bread pudding with this like banana Foster sauce they put over it, and then a scoop of ice cream. And that's, again, if you say, you know what, I need another hit, they'll bring in another round of their bread pudding. But wait, so the food's great, the atmosphere is great, but there's something else that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. That I really think to me makes this place special. It's one of these restaurants that are kind of this rare example of a restaurant in Walt Disney World, in my opinion, where you don't mind sitting there for a couple hours and just kind of enjoying and relaxing and taking your time and spending time with your family and just enjoying conversation. Because it used to be a thing where that was like our tradition before we lived here. We would come and we'd make a reservation the last night that we were there, and just that would be our time. We'd sit there, take our time, and just talk about the things that we enjoyed on the vacation. What are the things we experienced that were really memorable, and just to have that kind of quiet time. Because when you're in the theme parks, dead in the middle of the theme parks eating, you're always thinking, all right, well, I got a fast pass I got to run to, or I want to go check the parade out. Here, I think since you're removed from that, you don't have that pressure. So I always tell people, if you're going to have a dinner there, do yourself a favor and don't plan anything after. Don't say, I want to go get a bunch of fast passes that night, or I want to go do the Halloween party or the Christmas party after it. No, just have a little time afterwards to let your food kind of settle and just take your time, enjoy a nice couple beverages. And it's just an amazing experience. So without a doubt, my number one pick, Ohana, for dinner.
Dude, okay. First of all, I couldn't agree more. I love Ohana. I love literally everything about it. I love the food. I love dinner. I love the breakfast there. And what is stuck in my head right now, and I'm going to have to tell the story, is when you said that you shouldn't plan anything after that meal. because you're exactly right. You should sit and take your time and enjoy it, and they're not going to mind if you hold that table up for a little bit, because let's be for real, it's not a inexpensive place to eat. It's a great pick. I love it. So one thing I want to mention about Ohana, and it's breakfast. I love the breakfast there. It's great with the kids. We've done it. It's a character breakfast. It's Mickey, Pluto, Lilo, and Stitch normally. They do the all you care to eat breakfast same way as dinner. So your cousin, I guess they call it, right?
Yeah.
They bring you the all you can eat. They'll bring you the skillet, or I don't know if they call it a skillet. I think it's a skillet of the Mickey waffles. The different kinds of breads, fresh fruit, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, pretty much everything you can think of. And whenever you want more of something, you just they come to check on you. You say, hey, I need more bacon, I need more eggs, whatever. They bring it right back out. It's great. And they do I think they have like the guava juice, the jungle juice, whatever it is, which is awesome. It's a cool drink to have. But
that pineapple, orange, guava.
Yeah, they had the same thing
combo.
They had the same thing at Tusker House for breakfast. It's awesome. I forget, they call it different things in different places, but it's the same.
And don't they call it just Pog there?
Yeah.
Was that what they call it there?
Maybe you're right. And then I think it's Jungle Juice at Tusker House at Animal Kingdom. But it's excellent. And I'm not even a big juice. I like orange juice. I'm not a big juice person. I rarely for me it's I think I drink four things. It's water, coffee, Coke Zero, and beer. They're my four drinks. They're not all the same day normally. All except for the beer in every day.
That's what your grocery list looks like when you roll up.
Yeah. It's the K-Cups from Dunkin' Donuts, the 4-pack of a good beer, the case of water, and a case of Coke Zero. That's when I have garden groceries delivered to me at my resort at Disney. That's what they have. But so I love the breakfast there. I love the character.
Wait, so you say you buying your beer in 4-packs? So that's your tell. You're buying good quality,
that's true,
craft beer, small production beer, because you don't see Coors sells it in a 30 rack. At the convenience store.
And I'll buy that when we have a party. We recently have my daughter's 6th birthday party, my whole family, and we're all Irish, German, Catholic characters. And
I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to comment because I'm in there too.
And you have to buy a lot of beer for even a little kid's party. The little kids aren't drinking the beer, obviously, but
the kids' party's an open bar.
Oh my God, it's the kids' parties are
you put that on the invitation, open bar to the 6th birthday party.
You got the 20 bottles of wine, you got the cases of beer. Yeah, it's just. Listen, my family, we they do it right.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons when Barney Gumble rolls up to the barbecue. He's got the beer keg. Homer says, "Wow, Barney, you brought a whole beer keg?" And Barney says, "Yeah, where can I fill it up?"
All right. That's a great one. I love The Simpsons. Okay, so yeah, so back to the Polynesian breakfast. It's great. The characters are great. They have a character parade where they'll play music and your kids can walk around the entire restaurant with maracas and tambourines with the characters. It's just a really, really, very, very cool thing. But okay, so really quickly, I'll tell you the abbreviated version of my Ohana dinner story. Okay, July 13th, 2007. It was a Friday the 13th. I was going to do this on Saturday the 14th, but I couldn't hold off because I was nervous. So I proposed to my wife, to Amy, my now wife, then girlfriend, July 13th, 2007. Now, again, I planned on doing it on Saturday, but I had to bring it in my pocket, and I had it because I didn't want to leave it in the safe in the hotel. So we were staying we're not staying at the Poly that time. We were actually staying in Port Orleans. And it terrified me. I had to bring it in my pocket. I had it in there. I was texting your sister back and forth all day. Finally, I texted her and said, "Listen, I'm not doing it tomorrow. I'm doing it today. I can't." I remember going down the last hill in Splash Mountain, down the big drop, with holding onto the ring, being like, "Oh my God, this is terrifying me that I had this darn ring in my pocket." So anyway, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to change my plan because I had a whole plan for Saturday. So I decided, okay, we're going to dinner at Ohana tonight. She loves Ohana. I'm going to propose during wishes at Ohana. So we're seated at Ohana. We get a table pretty close to the window. The music comes on. The family directly next to us at the window are one of those not very quiet families, and they have every right to be. It's their vacation, but it just wasn't the right moment. Like, it was loud, it wasn't quiet, it wasn't intimate, and they were kind of in between us and the fireworks. And I was like, "This isn't going to work. I can't propose here." So I started panicking because I said, "If I don't do this now, I'm gonna do it on the bus." And then no one's gonna want that. She's gonna hate that memory forever. So I decided, okay, we're leaving Ohana. We're going back to the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to propose somewhere in the Magic Kingdom. Now, Wishes is going on, and it's the end of the night. The park's about to close. So we get out to the monorail station, and it's a 30. We paid our check really fast. There's about 30 people in line for the monorail. And the park closes in, 25 minutes. And I start thinking to myself, this isn't going to work. So, but I said, the only way we're going to do it, I'm not going to get down to there's no other way to do this. We get on the monorail, we get to the Magic Kingdom, get to the turnstile. These are back in the days when it still was a turnstile. And I'm in front of her, and I run up, I pull her by her hand, and I run up to the turnstile, and the cast member says, "I'm sorry, we're not letting anyone in." And I say to the cast member, "Dude, you gotta let me in. You just gotta let me in." And he's like, "Sir, I'm sorry, we're not letting anyone in tonight. The park's empty. It's emptying. It's closed. You're not going to be able to come in." So I reach into my pocket. I pull it. She's behind me. She doesn't see any of it. I show him the ring, and I say, I'm proposing to my girlfriend. I have to get in." He looks at me, and he just says, "Okay, come on. Lets us in." I drag her by her hand. For some reason, my brilliant idea is, you know what? I need to use the bathroom. Let's run up, and I say, the bathrooms in Town Square are always too crowded at the end of the night. I'm going up towards Adventureland. Let's use the bathroom up there. Dragging her by the hand. Wishes is going on in the background. Pulling her by the hand up the street. Finally, we get near the castle. I realize I'm close enough. I drop to one knee and propose. She says yes. The rest is history. But it almost didn't happen. Thank God for that cast member that let me in. Okay, that's my story. I know it's not exactly tied to Ohana, but it is, because I had something planned for after that evening, and it wasn't going to work out. So yes, and no, don't plan anything for after Ohana. I got really lucky that night and it worked out. So that's my proposal story.
And it may be hard to get down on one knee after you have a belly full of peel and eat shrimp.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the moment. You say, "All right, I'm glad you said yes. Can you help me up now?"
No, then I actually do need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, I split my britches.
Yeah, right. All right, so now it's my turn after everybody heard me talk for 20 minutes about this story. So I'm going to go kind of quickly. My first one, I was a lot more vague than you on my list. So my first one is simply the word location, because for the Polynesian being where it is in, regards to where the Magic Kingdom is and where the other monorail resorts are, I think it's something. I think it's a reason why people stay there time and time again. Is you can't beat where it is. You can't beat that location. It's awesome, and you have no problem getting to the Magic Kingdom. It takes like seconds. You have no problem getting to the other monorail resorts. If you're staying on a property, it's really easy to get to Epcot. You take a couple of monorails, very simple to get there. The other parks, obviously, you're going to Studios, you're going to Animal Kingdom, you have to take a bus. There's nothing that you can really do about that. But it's nice. The buses, they're great just as well. And the other thing about it is it being on Bay Lake, you have just awesome recreation opportunities that you don't have in a lot of the other resorts. You can rent the boats, the little motorized boats, take out on the lake there. There's fishing excursions that you can do. It's a lot different than staying somewhere that's completely landlocked, and one of the value resorts, one of the minor resorts that's landlocked, where there's no water around. So I know this is a very abbreviated first one for me, but I love the location of the Polynesian. I think it's really perfect.
So let me add to that real quick. So if you're arriving at the Polynesian with your family or your friends or whoever you're traveling with, one of the things that I think is amazing about the location is that as soon as you walk through the doors of the Great Ceremonial House, and this is something that so many people are bemoaning, they know where I'm going with this if they're hardcore fans. They used to have a big, massive waterfall there with all kinds of foliage. Now it's gone. But as soon as you walk in the Great Ceremonial House now, you can kind of look straight through and you see Cinderella's castle. Kind of like it's this kind of cool reveal. It's off in the distance. It's not right there. But it's a neat thing, like especially if you're traveling with kids. As soon as you walk through the door to your hotel, as you get ready to check in, you go, "Hey, kids, look, there's Cinderella's castle right there." That's pretty darn special.
Yeah, man, I agree, and that's something that that lobby is something it's on my list later on down the line. I wanted to talk about that a little more in detail because I know people were upset about that being gone. But I'll hold off on giving my opinion of it until my turn is back up. Right. But I do like that you can see Cinderella Castle when you walk in, and I you know what? Just bringing it up that you brought since you said it, I love the entrance of that resort. I love pulling up outside, and it's not overly dramatic. It's not, because it's been there forever, and it's certainly not the front door to Wilderness Lodge or something like that. But there's something that's really cool about walking into that resort. I agree. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. You tipped into something. I've been rearranging my list, and I want to see if I can. I don't want to sound like I'm cheating by doing my next choice, but I think you kind of teased it perfectly, so I'm gonna move it up on my list if that's okay with you. And you can shut me down if you think this is totally cheating.
No, man, you go about it. As you and I were saying before we hit record, I'm in a constant state of adjusting my list and moving things around. So yeah, if it fits into what we're talking about, it's perfect.
It's just amazing strategy that goes into this.
Yeah, it's all kinds of second level, third level, fourth level thinking going on here. It's like a chess match.
Yeah. So my second choice now is going to be the marina, because they have this beautiful marina at the resort. You mentioned it with respect to recreation. The marina, at the front of it, is one of the spots where you can grab one of the boat launches over to the Magic Kingdom if you don't want to ride the monorail. If you want to try to have a different experience, it's nice and relaxing. I do that a lot. But the marina also has a secondary component where they have an area where you can rent boats for just to go out and enjoy Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake. The most popular one are these little water mice or water mouse boats. These are the little they have two seats. See them zipping around all through the lagoon and Bay Lake too. But I'll tell you what, man, they also, not many people realize this or pay attention to it, but they also, if you're not into that tiny little watercraft, if you want to get something a little bigger, they have these 17-footers, these Boston Whalers, the Montauk boats. Those are cool to zip around, and it gives you a little more room. I think, 4 or 5 people can probably fit in one of those. But if you really want to live like a boss, my favorite thing to get is the 21-foot pontoon boat. They got these Sun Tracker pontoon boats that are super lush and comfy, nice cushiony seats. And I don't know, you can fit probably like 55 people on those things. I don't know. I'm not good at math. It's probably more like, like 6 or 7. I don't know how many people can fit. That's a lot. The only downside, and I'm just going to be honest here, the only downside is they put these 9.9 motors on those things, which, a 9.9 horsepower motor pushing a big pontoon boat, you can't go that fast. And I'm not saying you should go set any land speed records in a pontoon boat, but if you really want to move, the water mouse is your thing if you want a little bit of speed. This is more of a cruiser. You just want to kind of lean back and take it easy, enjoy the sights, and just kind of like you can explore that whole area, that whole waterway. You can even take those things over toward Fort Wilderness, and I've done that before. And you just pay like by the half hour, I think is how they price it out. But that's a lot of fun to do, especially with the families. And Because if you're riding the ferries or you're riding those water launches, you're kind of just on a predictable route. You can kind of take your time and go where you want to go and take some good pictures of the other resorts or the Magic Kingdom from the outside. You just got to be careful of yielding to the bigger boats, the ferry boats, and those other the other passenger or guest carrying boats. But that's a lot of fun. That's a great way to spend an afternoon.
You know what? This is gonna make me confession time right here. I've never rented a boat bigger than the water mouse. The water mouse. I've never rented anything bigger than that. I've never been on any of the bigger ones.
So here's my thing, man. I always joke and say, like, I want to have a birthday party over at the Home Depot parking lot and just set up some lawn chairs and a beer cooler and watch people load like things that they shouldn't load on their little Mini Coopers and things like that. Or at IKEA. That's another hot spot to watch people load and do crazy stuff. One of the things I think is, I shouldn't say this, but it's watching people dock the boats. The bigger boats is kind of funny. And I say that because there've been a couple of times where I've overshot it and I had to correct. But I grew up, my dad had a boat when I was a kid and still has a boat. So I've done a fair amount of boating, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm not great, but it is a challenge. So like with the water, those things are so easy to maneuver. They're small. They have they're not very long, so you have to. Not too crazy, but with the larger boats, I mean, you're doing like 90-degree docking, which you have to kind of it's a little bit of a dance, so it's a little bit of work. But once you're out, once you pull out, it's fine, and you're going. Just docking is a little bit of a challenge.
And again, I'm sorry for the tangent here, but you reminded me of another Mitch Hedberg joke that I'm going to do. I'm not going to do the voice because sometimes it comes out of me and I can't help it. But he says there's this one. Because I was going to say, are you a boating enthusiast? And then he had this one joke where he said, people who boat a lot, they call them boat enthusiasts. I like to boat, but I'm not going to, there's the voice coming out. I didn't try it. He says, I like to boat, but I'm never going to own a boat because I never want to be known as a boating enthusiast. Because I want them to call me just a dude who likes to boat. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. But yeah, I've never owned a boat. I'm not opposed to boats, but I have a buddy of mine who lives in Florida who has a condo right on the Gulf of Mexico, and his condo is right in this little canal, and literally from his deck it's like 15 steps to his boat. It's beautiful. The water's crystal clear. It's amazing. And you go down and you get on this boat and you're in the Gulf in 2 seconds, and it's awesome. But it's just not something.
Well, they're a money pit, man. They take a lot of money to maintain and time. And if you remember that show Pawn Stars, some guy was trying to sell a boat and they brought the boat expert in to look at it. And they're talking about all the stuff that needs to be fixed on it to get it ready to go out again. And the guy goes to the Pawn Stars guy, "You know what boat stands for, don't you? Bust out another 1,000."
That's funny, right? My grandfather had a boat, and he always used to call it the hole in the ocean that you throw money into. So yeah, it's true. But all right, man. So I'm gonna go on to my next one, and again, I went with I'm pretty vague, but my next one is the theme of the resort, but I went a little more, a little more specific, and it's the. So here's what I wrote on my list. I'll just give you an insight into the Phil way of making lists. My list says theme of resort, music, decor, new lobby. So that's why I thought of when you mentioned the water feature that they took out. When I first saw the plans for the new Polynesian lobby, I have to say I was pretty disappointed. I really liked that water feature, the waterfall. It took up a ton of the lobby, and I, like most Disney fans, loved it. And it kind of was the Polynesian for me. And I was pretty upset when I heard they were going to renovate it and take it out, and I didn't know what I was going to think. I got to tell you, man, I love the lobby the way it is now. I really do. I know it's a much more subdued, much, much smaller little waterfall they have in there now. I know a lot of people are still upset about it. I just really like the openness that it has, that the lobby has. And I like that you can get in there and there's a ton of places to sit and relax. And if you're just going to hang out, if you're waiting to have dinner at Ohana or any of the other restaurants or anything, the lounges at the Polynesian, I like that it has that much more room. I really like the this is going to sound funny, but when the water feature was there, the smell of the lobby wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't pleasant, but it wasn't as pleasant as I think as Disney wanted it to be. It was a little like flour smell covering up that, musty water smell from Pirates of the Caribbean. So it was like kind of two smells fighting against each other in that lobby. Now it's much more of like that floral, like what you like. I've been to Hawaii, and I feel like you smell that in Hawaii. Like there's just like in every hotel that you go into, and when you walk outside, you just smell like this clean, fresh, like flowery air. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I get in the lobby now.
You're saying it's kind of like that move I pulled in middle school where they had showers in the gym, but you never had time to take a shower after your gym class playing basketball and getting sweaty. Then you don't want to roll out to your next class, smelling like you just came from gym class. So you do that overspray of the right guard.
Yeah. I remember, dude. I think that was the funniest thing. I I did that in high school when we had the gym class in high school. You couldn't take a shower. You didn't have enough time. And everybody, for some reason, what was this, late 90s, everyone in my class had to spray deodorant. And you would just spray the living, what, out of yourself. And I can't imagine now what I smelled like then. I probably would have been a lot better just walking out of the gym.
I see these commercials for Axe body spray. I'm like, we were doing that with Right Guard. Like, what do you need a separate body spray for? It's all in one.
We were doing that way back then.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it was right. Most people smell like either Right Guard or Drakkar Noir.
Oh,
that was the jam in the '90s, man.
This is taking me back. Yeah, you're right. The Drakkar, and then Yankee Candle made. This is how much I know. When I was in college, when I went to Westchester University in Pennsylvania, there was a candle that Yankee Candle made, Midsummer's Night. That I don't know if they still make it, but it smelled just like Drakkar, or Drakkar, however you say it. And I had that in my room in college. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, man.
What it ended up doing was repelling every female from coming into my room. That's what it did for me in college. Nice. That and my Star Wars T-shirt. But anyway, yeah. So I love the lobby now. I think it's great. I love it smells a lot better. I think the music is fantastic. Just the background music when you walk around the resort is just awesome. And the last thing about the lobby and about the decor and then the new renovated public, I guess, areas of the resort that I really like is, and they've been doing this for years, but I love when you walk in and you get a lei from one of the cast members. I think it's very, very cool. And then this is a dining location, but I'm going to include it in this one. Is Pineapple Lanai? I hope that wasn't on your list.
No, because I knew you were going to get. I'm trying to do this mental jujitsu move on you. I'm trying to figure out. I thought you'd throw that on your list.
So I'm kind of including that in my lobby because it's right outside the door. It's like right there. You just walk outside. It's right outside, which has the Dole Whip, and there's never.
It has the Dole Whip without the line.
Yeah, there's never a line. You just walk in. I take my kids there all the time when we're staying at a monorail line resort because you get off the monorail, you walk downstairs, you walk outside the lobby, and it's right there. And there's never a line. Have your Dole Whip. You get your lei from one of the cast members. It's really cool. My kids love all that. They think they're really cool, walking around with it. So, yeah, that's fine.
Let me say something real quick about your point there, because I dig it. I mean, that whole island vibe thing, and I want to say this because, in the event that somebody's listening and says, well, I've been to Hawaii or I've been to, the Polynesian Isles and, I don't want to go to stay at a hotel that is trying to mimic that scenery and that experience. And yeah, sure. I mean, you're never going to get the exact same experience, but here's the thing. I think they do a really nice job of trying to create that overall atmosphere. Maybe you see certain things that might be different than what you'd see over there. But I think the attitude there is it's a very laid back atmosphere. So that's indicative of, or that's done by that background music that you mentioned. The decor does that as well, and just the way the cast members operate too. They want you to basically feel like, hey, take it easy. It's not going to be something we need to rush around here. No running and feeling like you got to catch everything that's on the agenda or the activity list of the day. I like that. I go over there all the time just to walk, and because I like just how serene it is. Beautiful vegetation, and that music that kind of plays all through the grounds there. You kind of stays with you as you walk around. But it really is. It's a nice little place to just hang out and relax and unwind. It can be a vacation in and of itself just to stay there.
I agree. I agree. And one thing that I didn't mention is with the new renovation, they took it from a very almost like a 60s and 70s tiki bar feel to a much more authentic, Hawaii or Polynesian islands feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like it felt like, there was going to be a bamboo, wall or a Hawaiian skirt at every, turn before. And now it doesn't feel like that anymore. Now I feel like it feels like a lot more like Hawaii did when I was there. And granted, I had the flu when I was in Hawaii. And I think I was out of my hotel room we were there for a week. I think I was out of my hotel room for 3 to 7 days. But
that's a bummer.
I know. My wife, Amy and my wife, our 10th anniversary is coming up, not this January, but next. So I think we're going to go back to Hawaii so we can actually experience it this time. Because, she experienced it a lot more than I did.
You don't go in January because you're going to be sick again. You got to go in
dude, I'm sick. I'm sick anyway. Doesn't matter. Always sick. Anyway, all right, man. So you're up for your next one.
All right. Geez, I'm trying to think of where I want to go with this next one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange my list again because I think it is going to dovetail nicely into what you just brought up. One of the really cool things about the property, which you've already talked about location, and you've already talked about just the general feel and atmosphere and decor and the music, all that, the sensory experiences. One of the things I think is really special about that property is the beach. And specifically, you can walk the beach in the daytime. It's beautiful. Just to kind of just take a nice leisurely walk in a nice, clean, white sand beach. They do a very good job of keeping that beach very clean. Every morning they're out there with their little tractors, combing the beach and making sure it's nice and, it's not super packed or anything like that. But in the evening hours to sit there and watch the fireworks like Wishes, or if it's, when they have the special holiday fireworks, like whether it be 4th of July or during the Halloween parties or the Christmas parties, to see the fireworks from there, and they, turn over the background music to basically pump in the soundtrack of the fireworks show. That's a great place to watch the fireworks. And so they have on the beach, they have a bunch of swinging benches, little swinging chairs you can sit on. They used to have a bunch of hammocks, but last time I was cruising through there, I didn't see those. Or there's the electrical, the water pageant that comes through every night, and that's kind of a neat little show. That's kind of for me, there's a sentimental thing with that. With all the technology Disney has now, that's very low tech, but it's a cool little show, and the kids like it. So I think that's a good one to throw in there. Hanging out on the beach with all the stuff you can do. It's a great way to, if you're going to spend an afternoon back at the hotel because you've been jamming all morning in the parks, hanging out on the beach. That's definitely a nice way to spend some time. So I like that spot.
Yeah, I love the beach at the Poly. I do. That was actually on my list, was the electrical water pageant, because that's something that, you're right, it's been there forever. It's very, very low tech. And when you see it, for some reason, you just stop and you want to watch it. But I think it's something that so many companies don't do. And it's kind of almost a throwaway thing. But for me, for my kids, we love it. They'll sit and listen. We're there a week, 10 days at a time. and they'll sit every night, whether it's on a beach or whether it's in a room or in a balcony, and they'll watch it go by like they never saw it before. There's something about it that's very, very cool. So yeah, I completely agree. I love the beach. That's, as I was talking about earlier, that was going to be my third backup plan for my proposal. If I couldn't get back to the Magic Kingdom, we were going to head down to the Polynesian beach, but we made it back to the Magic Kingdom, so we were okay.
I gotta imagine that's probably a pretty, got to be a hot spot. I don't know if it's impossible to keep stats on that, but gotta imagine if you're someone who's looking to pop the question, that's a great one. That's a great spot to do it.
You get down there, there's like 9 guys proposing at the same time as you.
Synchronized proposals.
It's like a line. Guys, just wait here. I'll be right back.
It's like a Busby Berkeley movie.
Yeah, it's Busby Berkeley. It's the Cinderella's or Snow White's, but is it Cinderella's wishing well? Cinderella's wishing well, right? Or is it Snow White's wishing well? In
Disneyland?
Yeah. It's the wishing well where I've read, on countless threads on the internet, that's where, guys propose to their girlfriends because they tell them to turn around and make a wish, and they turn around and turn back around and they have the ring. It's like I do imagine like almost like an assembly line of guys and girls standing there waiting to get, to get engaged right there. It's true.
So it was like, did it happen to be that one of your backups, beyond plan F was 5 guys slip the ring on a fry and put the fry in the ring laced fry back in her bin in her bag?
My luck, she would have eaten it, and we would have ended up at the ER. She'd had that famous X-ray picture with this engagement ring in it, in the shot in her stomach. Listen, the ring was not very large. She still has it, thank God. I'd like to replace it someday, but it probably would not show up in an X-ray, actually. All right, man. So that was you, right? That was your one. Yeah. So so this is my issue right now. So now I'm kind of stuck because you mentioned Ohana, so I'm assuming you have other restaurants on your list. But for me, I had restaurants all in one big fat category, which is probably cheating because there's so many to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk about one of the restaurants now because it's one that Pineapple and I was one that I already talked about. So I'm going to go to the quick service of Captain Cook's that I already kind of got on you a little bit about your cookies. Because listen, as far as quick service places go in the parks, they renovated this one and added a new menu. I don't know. I would say 3-4 years ago, I think, at this point.
And it keeps changing.
Yeah.
Even just like a couple months ago, I saw a whole bunch of new stuff pop up there.
Yeah. So they do keep changing the menu. Rest in peace, my buffalo chicken and waffle, which I loved there, and they got rid of it and it hasn't made a return. It bums me out. And back in the day, as you know, they had the make your own Dole Whips there, but those have long since been removed. But they still have a lot of cool, really good offerings there, and the Aloha pork sandwich is still there.
That's my move right there, man. Every time.
That's a really good sandwich. They have the is it Hawaiian meatballs? I forget what they call them. There's some kind of meatballs they have there, curry meatballs. I wish I would have done my research. It's because
I think it's is it a coconut Thai, like a Thai meat?
I think that's
Thai meatball. I can't remember.
I think you're right, but it's really, really good. And you know what they used to have there too, and they took off the menu, but then I had something that's close. And now this is going to be something that I have to admit to. I always thought I think it's a Vietnamese dish, and it's pronounced pho or pho, but I always thought it was pronounced I thought it was pronounced pho. So I was
spelled pho
exactly. So I was the dope that was there ordering pho, and they were looking at me like I was a crazy person, and. Yeah, but they have something that's very similar to that, the original one on our list, or on the menu still there. So, and one thing that I really like about that place is just the decor. I like going and sitting in the room because after you order your food and you sit down with your drink and your food all around you, and I'm pointing like, right now, seriously, I'm gesturing with my arm around my office and pointing to like all around the walls, like you can see me. But all around you when you sit down are like these cool, almost like attraction poster style looking like framed posters on the walls. But they're like Tahiti and Hawaii and different Polynesian islands, which I really like. I think it kind of is a cool thing and like kind of sets the mood for where you are. And I don't know. I just really like that place as far as a counter service place. They have pretty big variety of different food, a lot of selection of drinks. And then you can get some stuff too. You can get it to go back to your room if it's later at night after the parades and stuff. Well, not the parade right now, but after Wishes. So yeah, I really like Captain Cook. So that's my next one there on my list.
Well, and it's a cool spot too. Like if you're going to the pool and you want a snack in the middle of the day or whatever, or, for your lunch, or if it's in the afternoon, where you can go in there in your flip flops and grab something real quick and bring it right back out to a table by the pool. And they have like a nice little like outdoor seating area too. So if it's a nice day, you can sit out there. But like the sushi, like they have a little area of sushi that they, I was told that it's made up in Kona Cafe. And they make the sushi up there, and then they bring it down and package it, and then bring it down to Captain Cook's. So it's not like it's sushi that was made at some factory in New Jersey. No disrespect to New Jersey, but just it's very fresh. Made. So it's
poor New Jersey listeners.
It's not. It didn't come 1,000 miles away. It's literally came a few, just up one floor. And the Aloha pork sandwich, awesome. Lots of cool, like even like lighter stuff. Like the Aloha pork sandwich, yeah, it's a little on the heavier side. It's not like blow you out, but it'll basically. There's some other things in there too, like salads. And some other sandwiches that are, a little bit lighter. So if you're out there, you're swimming at the pool, you don't want to eat something super heavy and crazy. So a lot of good choices and good quality choices. I think the prices are good. So that's definitely a good choice. I think it makes it a lot easier to know that if you're there, you don't have to always be planning to go to a place like Ohana. If you want a meal, you got good choices there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it's true. Like they have Ohana, they have Kona Cafe, which are ones that are, you pretty much have to get dining reservations for a while in advance. And it is like seriously, my family and I will head over to, if we're staying in any of the monorail resorts, we'll head over to Captain Cook's for dinner, just because it's easy, it's quick, and it's really good. And I'm looking right now. I actually pulled the menu while we're talking. The Thai coconut meatballs is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the salad, I think that there's the Polynesian salad with chicken, which is really good. And I forgot about the other sandwich that they have there that I really like. And it's their hot beef and cheddar sandwich. Just reading it off the list here is roast beef cheddar, caramelized onions with sweet chili mayo on house-made bread. That's a really, really good sandwich. And I can't say it. So the pho, is that how you say it?
Pho. Just think like you're saying the 4-letter word without the last two letters.
Don't finish the word. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll keep you G rating.
Yeah,
and that's a trick that a Vietnamese person told me because I kept calling it pho. He's like, oh, that's not how you say it.
Yeah, so that's
how they.
I mentioned that they had it, but they don't actually now. You're right. The menu has been updated. The closest I would think, and it's not that close at all, is a curried seafood stew.
The udon noodles, they have that now.
Yeah,
or they did. I don't know. I haven't been over there in a little bit, but
you're right. They're changing the menu super fast there.
Well, hey, but I want to mention real quick. You said that Polynesian salad. That's actually really good, and that's a if you're trying to go lighter on your lunch or whatever, that's a really good salad. Like grilled chicken. It's got it sounds crazy, but blue cheese and pineapple. For some reason it all works. Like tomatoes are in there. And it's got like this. I don't know if it's like a sesame dressing or something like that. I will do my homework one of these days before I show up.
Sesame soy dressing.
Oh, it is.
Exactly what
it
is.
Good. Yes. How about that? Every now and then I get lucky.
The palate. You got the good palate. You didn't have to read it. You knew.
Man, I didn't get this size by accident. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. You act like you're like this huge dude. I love that. It's like you act like you're. If you were to go tonight, they would be ripping the hole in the building to get you out of there. You're not even close. You're nowhere, not even a million years anywhere near that. But one thing I wanted to mention too, that we're talking about it is, if you love Kona Cafe and you love Tonga toast, they actually serve Tonga toast for breakfast at Captain Cook's. So that's something that you might want to think of if you don't want to get reservations and you want the Tonga toast. There
you save, if you're trying to if you're watching your budget, that's a cool way to do it. Now,
you're right.
To do the sit down version of the Tonga toast at the Kona Cafe, I don't know, what is it, like $12-13 or something like that, and then to get it there, it's like $7 or $8.
Yeah.
So if you're a family of 4, that's a good chunk of change you're saving.
You're right. That's a good point. All right, man. Well, I think you're up for your next one.
All right. This is kind of straight down the middle of the fairway here. Nothing too crazy. One of the things I think is really cool about this property is there's a huge variety of rooms that you can get in terms of price points and experiences and views and things like that. So, I've stayed in the standard rooms. They're amazing. And I think they just renovated all the rooms just only a few years ago or a couple years ago. So everything's really fresh. So if you're thinking, oh my goodness, this hotel is 45 years old, it's going to be, the rooms are going to be like 45. No, they are constantly rotating or renovating these rooms like every 5 or 6 years, it seems like. So they recently did a big renovation. So everything's kind of nice and modern in there and sleek, but still keeping that theme. But they have those rooms kind of like entry level. Then you can go up to like a club level where, the concierge service, and then you can go crazy and get a suite. And I did stay in a suite one time, and it was freaking awesome in there. And then they have the bungalows, the famous bungalows everyone talks about. But let me tell you what my favorites. I'm gonna go right down the middle with one of the club level rooms, and I like the club level experience there. So you're paying a few extra bucks than you would in the normal rooms, in the standard rooms, but your rooms are going to be concentrated in one particular longhouse, the Hawaii longhouse, where one side of the longhouse, all the rooms face out toward Seven Seas Lagoon, where Cinderella's Castle is, and Grand Floridian and Contemporary and the bungalows and all that kind of cool stuff. The other side is facing the pool, the smaller pool that they have there, and the gardens and things like that. But they have this really neat lounge in there so you need your room key to just even get in the building. A nice little lounge up there on their second floor that in the morning they have like a continental breakfast there. It's all, included in the room charge. So like pastries and coffee and things like that, fruit, yogurts and things like that for the kids. But then toward the afternoon, they have like this cookie service. They'll just put out some cookies and some mixed nuts and things like that, and grab a drink and a soda and all that stuff. It's all included. Then they have an hors d'oeuvre service kind of around like 5 o'clock ish or so, where they have, it's hors d'oeuvres, and some people like treat it like dinner and just go crazy. I don't recommend doing that, but there's some nice little things that they do, and the menu rotates every day, so it's not like every night of the week you're getting the same things. They rotate it, so you're different offerings, and they have beer and wine all included. So you can go there and grab. My thing was to go down there and grab a beer and a little plate of something, and just kind of have a nice little relaxing time sitting in the lounge. And we have like a later dinner reservation. But then the evening hour, they have desserts, and they'll put out, wines and, liqueurs and things like that, all free of charge and included in the room. They do offer some services with that, like, with planning. But if someone's going to you, they don't need that service, man. That's just, showing off at that point. But the lounge is cool. It's nice and relaxing. It's very family friendly. So they have like this little TV with little chairs for the kids. The adults can sit over a little bit away and have a table where they can overlook the lagoon. And it's a great spot to watch fireworks. They pipe the music in there, and they lower the lights. There's like a little third floor deck up there where they have a couple of tables and chairs where they have like checkerboards set up there, like really nice themed checkerboards that are like kind of built into the table. And then like a little lounge up there where you can sit, and there's a little TV up there too. I dig it. And this is one of those resorts I'll tell people, you know what, you're going to spend a couple extra bucks to stay here. than you would in some of the other, like the moderate resorts or the value resorts. But it's worth it because, if you tell yourself, maybe if I'm going there for 7 days, instead of giving like the 7-day park hopper, maybe I get a 5-day park hopper. I'll save a couple bucks on the tickets, and I'll take that money and dump it into a nicer room. And when you're staying at a place like the Polynesian, or if you're staying something like the club level rooms, that's part of that experience. You can sit there and you hang out and just have a nice, relaxing day, and be on a vacation where you're recharging your batteries and taking a couple days just to really enjoy the property. So I every time someone asks me if it's worth it, I say absolutely, every single dollar, just from that experience of the view and the building and the people that are in that building that help you, the cast members. And that lounge area is really super cool. So that's a clear shot for me. Definitely one of the things I think makes it very special.
So the first thing I thought of when you started bringing this up is the view from the lounge, from the first floor of the lake and the palm trees, and you see Cinderella Castle and Contemporary and all that out in the distance. And again, we talk about the one thing that's like feels like the like Hawaii or the Polynesian Islands. That view from that area, just kind of, I agree, it's worth it just to get that view. And sure, you can get it from the beach, or you can get it when you're not staying there, but something makes it, to go and be able to get your breakfast in there, get your drink or your dessert, or walk around and be able to take advantage of all that, I think is a little different than just walking on the beach at night. You know what I mean? Like seeing that at dusk and just seeing the boats, and I don't know. It's just a very, very cool thing. And I agree. It's something that you might want to not, go over the top with the other stuff. If you're going to, I tell people all the time, like, I could take a trip to Walt Disney World, stay in one of the really nice resorts, and not go to the parks. I really could. I now with my kids, no, I couldn't do that. But before I was married, or when we were first married, absolutely I could do that. I would love to just kind of relax on the beach, or go to the resorts and go to different restaurants every night. Yeah. I'm all about that.
and your kids kind of, they've been there enough where they know what they want, and they're really kind of craving that stuff.
Right.
But, to say, to kind of compare and contrast, you can easily do that. If you're traveling with kids and you say, you know what, can I keep my kids occupied here on the property all day? Yeah, there's activities that they do all during the day that are, that they'll give you a little activity sheet, things that are going on with special events that they do, like at the pool or even in the Great Ceremonial House. So there's things that you can do with the kids all day long if you don't want to go to the parks and just hang out at the Polynesian. And if when the time comes, I'm hitting you up and say, hey, hook me up with a 3-day weekend over there. And I'm not going to go to the parks. I want to hang out and enjoy the property. There's a lot of cool stuff to do there.
Yeah, and that's what the locals do. I mean, if you're local, especially if you're going to stay on Walt Disney World property, you're going to do that. You're going to, enjoy the resort and go to the spa. I know you are a, big spa fan. So
don't let the word get out, man. Come on. I got a reputation to uphold here.
You've mentioned it. But it's funny. It's what people do. Like, I have friends that live in Florida, who will just go and you do a little staycation, and you stay 3-4 days at the Poly, or you go to the Contemporary or the Grand Floridian and just do the restaurants and do the beach and do that kind of thing, or go to the boardwalk and stroll the boardwalk at night, or walk over to the beach club. And yeah, you can do all that kind of stuff. It's you're not limited to going from the, in the parks from open to close every single day, especially if you don't have little kids. It makes it a little, it's a different kind of vacation. And I realize I say, a lot. So I apologize, because I'm all about the, and not Uno, the game, because that's fun. I'm saying, a lot.
Do you have any listeners that are like master Toastmasters, and they're hearing that, like, they're counting off your nose?
Oh man. What's funny is the Phillies had a pitcher named Cole Hamels, and now they traded him last year. He pitches for the Texas Rangers now, and he used to drive me crazy every interview he did, because every other thing he said was They're just, I have to do a better job, and they have some good hitters over there, and I wasn't, wasn't working with my curveball, enough tonight, and I'd be like, stop talking, and that's me now on the podcast. Anyway, I don't know if it's my turn or your turn. I don't know how many.
That was my fourth one.
Okay,
so back
this would
to
be
you
my
now.
fourth. So, yeah, like I'm kind of all over the place. So, I'm gonna go with something that's kind of. It's something that I noticed that I thought was really, really cool. And it's something that, to be honest with you, a lot of people aren't going to get a chance to experience because of the price. But I want to mention it anyway because it's something that I thought was really cool. In the bungalows, right, the new fancy schmancy bungalows that they have over the border at the Polynesian, they have, obviously, bathrooms in them. And I know someone who stayed there who noticed a TV remote control on the bathroom counter. Do you know where I'm going with this by any chance?
I've never been in one, but I've seen a bunch of videos of people walking through.
Okay.
So yeah.
So there's a TV remote, and they were like, well, why is this for the bedroom? And they walked in, and no, there was another TV remote in the bedroom, and they couldn't figure it out. So walk back into the bathroom, hit the button, hit power, and there is a TV built, I guess, behind the mirror in the bungalow bathroom that comes on, and you can watch from anywhere in the bathroom while you're, getting ready. And there's another, by the way. And I just find it fascinating that Disney would put in, and again, this is something that's kind of a weird kind of throwaway thing, but they built these TVs into the mirrors in the bungalows. So I guess if you're taking a shower and you want to watch, I don't know, the weather or CNN or catch up on your stocks or whatever you're doing, you could do that. If you spend a little bit more money and you stay at the bungalows. I just thought that was a really, really cool touch. Something that I don't remember ever seeing before in any other Disney resort. I know other resorts, like fancy schmancy resorts, haven't, but I just thought it was really cool. So I thought it was worth mentioning on the show.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because you're going to know way more about this than I do. I heard through the grapevine that they do that on the cruise line too, on one of the in the concierge cabins.
Yeah,
so they have the mirrors.
Yeah, I've never personally seen it, but yeah, I think you're exactly right on that.
But those are, and it's just like the big ticket,
right?
Heavy hitter staterooms on the cruise line.
The DiCaprio rooms.
Way to bring it back, man. Nicely done.
Again, that's why I paid the big bucks, man. I do that stuff on the
show. There you go. Cool, man. All right. So my final one that I have on my list here is kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier with respect to these activities that you have available to you. You don't need to be going to the parks all the time. You can really enjoy a lot at a hotel like the Polynesian. And I really enjoy what they set up for the evening activities, because there's a bunch of them that they have available to you, and these are all free of charge. And I'm doing a lot of too. Hopefully no one's doing like a drinking game and listening to these podcasts and saying, hey, every time they say taking a shot of Jaeger.
Jaeger. And then now we're going back again. We're going back to my college days in my dorm room with my Midsummer's Night Candle with the Right Guard and the Jägermeister.
Yeah, and switching off with Mickey's Big Mouth. But no, so one of they do a couple of things that I think are really interesting with respect to the evening activities that you have available to you as a guest. There is they have a campfire every evening right there on the beach, but they have this neat little alcove that they've kind of built out of stone that houses the campfire. So it's not like they're building an actual bonfire on the beach. So it's all self-contained and safe. They have cast members there that'll make sure that if you have kids, they're not getting too close. So you don't have to worry if you have a gaggle of kids, making sure that they're not going to be walking into doing a Tony Robbins move and trying to do like walk through the hot coals. But so they have that, and they'll let you roast marshmallows too over the campfire every night. So that's kind of a fun little thing. And then they also do this thing where they used to do it right by the campfire, where they would set up one of those blow up movie screens, and you could bring chairs over and watch a film every night of the week, a Disney film, obviously. They moved that over toward the Great Ceremonial House. They have this new little area that they've cut out called, I think they call it the Gathering Place. And it's crazy. When they built it, I remember they building it, and I saw what they were doing with it, and they put this it's like putting green grass they had down there, which is like, they're really fine, really short grass that just like really picture perfect. And I thought, that's not going to last. Like, everyone's tramping all over that and sitting down, and just all those people, that's just going to have to keep sodding that every day, basically. Well, guess what? That's kind of what was happening. It was just getting annihilated. So I was walking through there one day, and I think this was earlier this year, and I was looking out there, and I went, wow, they just resodded, and boy, that looks pretty. And I walked over to it, and I walked on it, and I thought, wait a second, this isn't real grass, this is artificial. But it looks so real.
Yeah, it's the Magic Kingdom grass that they put in the hub, right? It's the same deal.
I even think maybe it's the same. I even think it's better.
Okay.
But it's like a really good toupee. Like, you have to look at it and go, is it real? That's not a piece.
I have an uncle one of those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, man. Didn't mean to make it personal.
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
I'm not making fun. Just saying. But now it's a really neat spot where they set up the blow up screen, and everyone kind of hangs out and sits and watch a film at night under the stars. Of course, weather permitting. That's a cool thing to do. And even in the daytime, that's a fun little spot. You see, like, my kids love to go and run around there and just hang out, and they'll just, I don't know, they just play tag and have a good old time just running around on that little gatherings place, little point that they made. So I think there's a lot of cool things, and it really kind of rounded out my list and my idea of saying, you know what, you don't need the parks every single day. You can do plenty of things at a resort like the Polynesian that will keep you and your family occupied and have a ton of fun.
That's another thing that Disney does really well, is that I love the nighttime the fire pit with the roasted marshmallows, and I love the movies and the stars. And one thing I like about the Fort Wilderness is the Chip and Dale. They have Chip and Dale come out there and do the roast marshmallows with you, and you sit and watch a movie, and it's really, really cool. But it seems like, Polynesian included, a lot of the resorts have kind of adopted that in the last few years, where I know they do it at Boardwalk, and they do it at the Polynesian. I know they do it at Wilderness Lodge, where they have a little campfire. You can go out. It's not as dedicated an area as the Polynesian is, but they have it where you can go watch a movie, and they do the campfire and all that. It's really neat. And it's stuff that when you get back to your resort at night, your kids are tired, their feet hurt, they don't really feel like walking around anymore. To have something like that to kind of relax and just kind of enjoy the ambiance of like the hotel, resort, it's really cool, man. I really like that.
And that Chip and Dale thing that's a topic for another podcast, but that's a cool little setup too over there. Making the s'mores, get the s'more kit. Yeah, and I think the last time I did, I think it was like $10 or something like that.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
But you got the sticks and you got the chocolate, but there at the Poly, it's just the marshmallows. They don't go like whole hog. At least the last time I was there, I don't remember seeing them bring out chocolate and graham crackers. But someone could write in and say, no, he's wrong. They do it now.
That's fine. If you want to write in and tell Johnny he's wrong, that's completely cool. We're all about being honest, and if you want to correct us, that's fine. What I was just thinking of too, when we started talking, we were talking about the grass and he's in the toupee, I was thinking, how funny is it that two guys who take razors to their heads are talking about somebody wearing a bad toupee, right? Like we didn't have the guts to try the toupee, the toupee angle.
Yeah, because those things are expensive, man.
You got to maintain it. So that was your fifth, or that was your fourth? I forget.
That was my fifth. Yeah.
Okay. So I got nervous that you were going to go with the restaurant, so I kind of shied away, and then I went back. And so again, the restaurants in at the Polynesian are fantastic, right? We mentioned Ohana, we mentioned Captain Cook's. I think we talked about Kona Cafe a little bit because about the sushi that they make there. Kona and the Tonga Toast as well, which that's a great restaurant. That they have, just an awesome menu. It's another one really that you have to get along with Ohana. You have to get reservations for pretty far out because that books up. What we didn't mention was, and we mentioned Pineapple we didn't mention Kona Island, which is a little stand that's on the second floor, like the concourse, that has, the fresh sushi and coffee and all that kind of, not at the same time. I think coffee's in the morning, sushi in the afternoon, in the evening.
Wait, is that your fifth one?
No.
Okay, because I'm freaking out here because I specifically didn't choose one.
I know. No, I'm
like I got flop sweat here. Like, my gosh, you didn't mention it.
No, I'm just making sure that people know that the listener knows that that's a really good place to go to get sushi. If you want to get sushi to go or cup of coffee to go in the morning, it's a really cool place to go. No, of course.
Or even sit there on that little ledge and just watch the monorail go by.
Yeah, it's a really cool little place. I agree. It's funny because every time we go to Ohana for breakfast or for dinner, that place is full. I feel like it's everyone who comes to the Polynesian is like, I'm going to go to Ohana or I'm going to go to Kona. And they're like, no, we're full. And then they're like, all right, well, I guess I'm eating here. But if the food's really good, it is. It's the same sushi that they serve next door. Yeah. So at Kona, it's you just don't have you're waited on by like the hourly barista style Disney cast member. It's not, a full service restaurant by any means, but it's a nice little place to get some food, get a drink.
And I've heard like hardcore coffee people say that that's some of the best coffee on property right there. It's that Hawaiian sourced. Yeah. But it's a stronger coffee. So if you're somebody who likes coffee, but you don't really like stronger coffee, you might have to be prepared to water it down with some cream.
Yeah.
Cut it a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same as like Starbucks. I think that's a little on the strong side too. Anyway, okay. So on to my last one. Everybody knows what it is. I'm building one in my garage, a replica kind of. Trader Sam's, of course, is my favorite place and really is my top reason for staying at the Polynesian, right? I love Trader Sam's. From the time I went to Disneyland a few years ago and got to experience it, and then when they announced they were building one in Walt Disney World, I was so excited. It may be, and besides Main Street USA and Disneyland, and probably Main Street USA and Walt Disney World, it may be my next favorite place on all of property. I love Trader Sam's, and it's so if you don't know what it is, it's their big lounge. It's but it serves food. There's a small plates menu, and they have different kinds of food you can get there. That's very, very good. Trader Sam's, the inside lounge itself seats. It's a very small amount. I think it's 55 is all it seats inside. So if you want to go, and Johnny and I had this problem before, where we were like, oh, we're going to meet at Trader Sam's, and they're like, oh, it's an hour and a half wait. You're not getting in normally on a busy day, so you have to get there early or be prepared to wait or sit outside. They have the outdoor section of the lounge. It's not honestly as cool as the indoor section, but they'll have live music and they have the same menu, the same drinks, that kind of thing. You can see the pool, you can see the lake out there, so it's nice. But the inside actual lounge part of it is the big draw. And like I said, I'm not a mixed drink guy. I'll get one when I'm there, and then because I like the collectible glasses, and I'll buy. They have several collectible glasses, and they're introducing these seasonal collectible drinks and with the glasses. So they recently had the Haunted Mansion collectible tiki glass that was like
people were going nuts.
Oh my god, there was a line for that for hours.
Yeah,
that started out in Disneyland, and they brought it out to Florida to Walt Disney World, and they were impossible to get. I tried, I couldn't, and now if you want one on eBay, they're like $300, which I think is insane. But it's basically the most well themed lounge that Disney's ever put together. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great interactive elements, The bartenders, the servers are just phenomenal there. The story is they are retired Jungle Cruise skippers, so they're pretty snarky, they're pretty sarcastic, which makes it even better. Like I said, the interactive elements are great. When you order a drink, all kinds of things happen. There's special effects, there's sound effects, there's music, there's animatronics, it's just, oh my God, it's such a fun place to go. And I literally tell every client I have who, and I think it's 8 p.m. They cut off anyone under 21.
They cut them off.
Well,
no more booze for you, kiddo.
That's a good point. I don't know why I put it that way.
You want you staggering around here too late.
My 6-year-old, they're like, all right, she had enough. You're not allowed in the restaurant. They kick you out if you're under 21. But if you're, because up until then, you can bring anyone, any age can go in. You can bring your kids. You can sit, have your appetizers, your small plates, have a drink, and it's really cool. At night, it is a little more adult-ish of an atmosphere because it's 21 and over. But for my money, man, it's my favorite place. It's so much fun. And if you haven't been there, I can't really explain why it's so great. You just have to go and experience it. I think Trader Sam's my number one reason to stay at the Polynesian.
Well, since you were building one in your house, I figured he's going to have to be using this one. Did you ever score one of the Haunted Mansion? It's not like the tumbler.
I didn't. No, I tried. I just can't. My budget for our Trader Sam's in our house did not allow for a $300 cup.
Well, hey, I got this idea. This is a crazy one. Edit this out in post. What you can do is like send out like a notice on Facebook or Instagram or something and say, hey, I'll trade you. If you have one, I'll knock $300 off of my services for, all the planning I do with the booking the hotel and the dining reservations and the fast passes and the itineraries and the Magic Express.
Wait,
what's retail? Is retail like $1,000 on that service package you offer?
I forgot to tell you, I don't charge anything for my services. It's free.
Wait. What? Wait. Whoa. Hold on. Gotta wipe my flop sweat off here. What? That's free?
It is without a doubt 100% free. I don't charge, nor will I ever charge in my most excited voice a fee for
maybe
any
you
of
can
my services.
find some sucker out there and say, yeah, I'll do this for free.
And now my plan,
normally it's
give me your mug. And now the plan is foiled forever. I can never get a glance.
Oh, goodness, can't believe all you do with that is free of charge.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
even if they just want to get like a quote, you don't charge them for that.
That's true. Everything's free. Everything is free. And again, if you do pay for something like that, and I don't want to talk badly about any other travel company out there, but if they're authorized by Disney, they will never charge you anything. So I would never.
Well, let's not talk about all those other people now, because in my mind they don't exist.
Man.
You're right there, man. You're the guy. Hey, number one Disney podcast. I heard it. It said, hey, there was a study done in my neighborhood, and they said, yeah, the competition was fierce, but the judging was fair.
That was the same study that was done in my house.
Oh, really?
That voted.
Man,
yeah, I think
you're
more than one
tearing up the market.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, thank you for always mentioning that, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it is free. Obviously, I put the podcast out, and you were always so gracious to come on and help me out and give me my plug, even though because I won't usually. I'll say that it's free, and then I let it go. So I appreciate it. So thanks, man, for always letting everyone know that what I do, and thank you again for being on and for doing this. These are always a lot of fun.
It's my pleasure, man, and hopefully you got some folks here who heard what we had to say and got excited about giving the Polynesian a shot.
Yeah, I really think that this is one that I was really excited to do because I think it is such a great resort. It really is, and you mentioned something earlier that it kind of stuck with me, and I want to kind of reiterate it. that it's not a 40-plus-year-old hotel. It's really not. It's over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, it's completely different than it was. It's almost like a new resort now. It's not, if you stayed at the Polynesian in the 80s or 90s, you would be shocked if you walked in there now at what they offer and what there is to do. And like you said, the variety of rooms and experiences and restaurants and activities. Yeah, it's a great place. It's such a great place. And I was so excited to do this one. So I hope people are listening and being like, yeah, I really want to stay there because it's a great pick. It's a great place.
So where could I go when I say, you know what, I heard this podcast, Phil's the man, no doubt. I don't know about that other knucklehead he keeps bringing on there, but I need to go see how much it would cost me and my family to go to the Polynesian. Where do they hit you up for that?
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's just eartotheretravel.com, and you can find these two knuckleheads on the podcast there. You can find my request a free quote button. You can find my blog over there. Everything is all right there. So yeah, so find everything right there. And to try to return the favor, if anyone wants to know where Johnny Shortsleeve can be found on the old internet machine, where can they find you?
Man, they know where to find me. But I'll tell you what, let me do this. Let me take my 30-second spot here, and I want to see if I can shed some light on something I think that would be kind of cool. And maybe people don't know about it. Okay. It's a place called Give Kids the World Village. It's right here in New Orlando area. It's end of the year. People are kind of thinking about would like to do something nice for the holidays, or get a tax break for the end of the year, make a donation. It's Give Kids the World, GKTW.org. Very, very cool organization, and do a lot of cool things with Make-A-Wish. So families that have children who have very serious illnesses, they'll go there, they hang out, they take great care of them, they get them into the Disney parks and other parks too. And here's the cool thing about this place. Other than what they do, I mean, they just do an amazing thing for families all over the world to come here and enjoy Orlando. For every $1 that you donate to them, over 93 cents goes right into doing the program services that they have. So, just to kind of put that into perspective, if you donate $1 to one of the, I don't want to get political, but one of the presidential nominees campaign foundations, you get about 6 cents that goes to program services for every for every $1 you give that foundation, you get a rounding error in return. This is 93 cents. It's based, they have some, every nonprofit has some overhead. They have a very, very slim overhead. They run a very lean operation there in terms of, because they take a lot of donations from the big companies like Disney in the area to run, so they don't have to take all this money out of every $1 that you donate to do what they do. So they have a lot of gracious donations. So, even if you're not somebody who wants to donate, check out the website, because there are some other ways even to volunteer down there. If you're down in the area here, local in Orlando, or if you're somebody who comes to Orlando and stays for a long time, you want something fun to do and not theme park related, go over there and do some volunteering. So again, it's Give Kids the World Village. I think that's a great organization. Check them out.
You know what? That's a great mention. I love Give Kids the World. When I was a cast member, I volunteered over there a bunch. I've honestly never felt both as happy and as proud of it sounds lame, but as proud of myself for doing something like that, and as sad at the same time. And I don't want to end the show on kind of a down ending, but it's a lot of the kids, it's the last big thing that they're going to do. And for you to go over there and volunteer and to spend some time with them, and to give their parents some time to take a break. And I know it's kind of weird to say that, because of course it's their kids, and being a parent, now I know more than ever that you don't really need a break from your kids, but these folks kind of just need a little bit of time to feel like, themselves, and to kind of just have a minute to themselves to think, or go out and have a nice dinner. So it's a nice thing to do. And great call, man. And it's something that has always been kind of near and dear to my heart. I love that organization. I think they're fantastic. One of the guys that I talk about on this podcast all the time, Bob Jackson, that plays over at Port Orleans Riverside, he donates his time and plays at Give Kids the World, I think, once a month. Maybe more than that. I don't know. I think it's once a month though. So yeah, it's a great cause, great organization. And you're right. If you don't have money to donate, or if you're on your trip and you want to volunteer, it's a really, really awesome organization. So thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hopefully, if anything, if one person hears this podcast who hasn't heard of that and checks it out and spreads the word, and we can, let everybody know they do a lot of cool stuff there. So definitely, let's hopefully get the word out.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right, well, thanks again, man, for being on. And yeah, it's a great mention. And with the holidays coming up, I'm excited to close the show out that way. So thanks again for coming on. And yeah, we'll do another resort roundup really soon. And I know from judging from experience, I'll talk to you on the next podcast in a couple of days, next week, something like that. So thanks again for being on. And
right on, man.
All right, man. Thank you. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There podcast. Thank you, as always, to my guest, my co-host, my brother from another mother, Mr. Johnny Shortsleeve. We always go way over my quote-unquote limit of a 45-minute to an hour episode. But honestly, it's always worth it. I always have a lot of laughs. It's a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as we did. If you did enjoy the episode this week, I'm going to ask for something different. If you did enjoy it, please visit the Give Kids the World website at www.gktw.org. On the bottom right-hand side of your screen, whether you're on mobile or if you're on your computer, you'll see a blue button with two hands around a heart that underneath it says How to Help. With the holidays coming up, I really appreciate it if you just hit that button and if you took just 5 minutes to take a look and see what you could do to help these kids. As we were saying during the episode, it's just a phenomenal cause. And really, I couldn't think of ending this episode any other way. So thank you, as always, so much for listening. And thank you in advance for going to the Give Kids the World website to see what you can do. I really appreciate that as well. Until next time, have a great week. Bye-bye.